What are some of the most important parts of your body? Maybe your answer is the brain, or our muscles, or even the skin that holds us all together. Perhaps you thought of the trillions of nerves running through us, but odds are you overlooked one crucial aspect to our health: the adrenal glands.
Our adrenal glands are our main stress glands, and they're responsible for producing a variety of hormones in our body. Most specifically, cortisol, our stress hormone, is produced by our adrenal glands in response to stress.
That's Dr. Izabella Wentz, a thyroid specialist and author of Adrenal Transformation Protocol, a 4-week plan to release stress symptoms and go from surviving to thriving. While cortisol has been villainized on social media for being the cause of weight gain, the hormone is actually quite helpful.
When we have it in just the right amounts, we do need it for survival and for thriving. Then we have good brain function and our immune system is in check and our body can repair itself. So we do want some, we just don't want way too much of it. Generally, we want to have a good cortisol secretion. So we want to have high cortisol in the morning. Not too high. There's kind of this optimal range where it's, if you could picture a slide where you're at the top of the slide in the morning. This high level of cortisol is going to make sure that we are present, that our brain is awake, that our body's awake, and that we're feeling good.
Cortisol has anti-inflammatory properties, which, when it's released in the right amount, we wake up feeling refreshed and pain-free. As the day goes on, our cortisol levels gradually decline until we're ready for bed and can easily fall asleep.
It's a circadian hormone that gets released in times of stress. And with a healthy person in that healthy pattern, it'll be in that way. In times of acute stress, when we are feeling threatened, so, you hear about the people that lift cars because there's a child underneath that, or all of a sudden they get super strength because they're being chased by something, right? Or they climb a tree and they're being chased by a bear. And it's like, I didn't even know I could climb trees. And so this is cortisol when it's released in high amounts. And this can be life-saving, right? When we're faced with a threat. And this can be a big, big driver to help us survive.
The problems start when our body gets stuck in survival mode. Our adrenal glands continue to produce cortisol even though there's no need for it, causing numerous issues that include muscle weakness and weight gain. However, Wentz says that having too little cortisol is just as bad.
Especially for people with chronic fatigue syndrome, fatigue symptoms, having trouble waking up in the morning, brain fog, and irritability and anxiety and overwhelm throughout the day. And then people can also have cortisol in the right amounts, but perhaps it's not secreted at the right times of day. So if you don't have enough morning cortisol, then you're going to be tired. And if you have too much cortisol at nighttime, then you might have trouble falling asleep and have unrefreshed sleep and middle of the night wakings.
Wentz says this cortisol imbalance is caused by adrenal dysfunction. It occurs when our adrenal glands can't properly communicate with our brain. The most common signs of adrenal dysfunction are fatigue, brain fog, irritability, and anxiety. Physical pain can also occur, along with trouble falling asleep at night. Wentz says higher stress levels can start after just one bad night of sleep, but adrenal dysfunction occurs if that heightened stress cycle continues for weeks.
Typically, in healthy individuals, the brain, the hypothalamus, and the pituitary will sense stress, and then they'll send hormone signals to the body to make cortisol. And if this stress goes on for too long and we get stuck in a chronic stress cycle, then the pathway kind of gets broken down and the receptors get desensitized. And eventually the pathway will get broken down to a point where the body may still sense the stress, but it still doesn't release cortisol in the right amounts throughout the day. Just to clarify, it's not like a disease. This is the body's adaptation to stress. This happens when the body's overwhelmed with stress.
And it's an incredibly common disorder, particularly in people with depression, heart disease, and fibromyalgia. However, Wentz says that in many cases, it's often left undiagnosed. The dysfunction can stem from a couple moments of incredibly high stress or small frustrations that compound on each other until one day it becomes too much for our bodies to handle.
The stressors of modern life can also put us there. So it's like constantly being on the go, having a super busy schedule, burning the candle at both ends, not getting enough sleep, under-eating, over-exercising, eating foods that are inflammatory to us, eating too much sugar and too much food that drives up our blood sugar response.
Not to mention the hidden sources of stress, like an illness or infection our body has to fight off. Since all of our body's energy is focused on managing this response, we're left without any to help our muscles recover from exercise or our minds from socializing. Unfortunately, Wentz says medical professionals tend to focus on fixing the symptoms instead of the dysfunction.
And so modern medicine sort of uses a Band-Aid approach to the symptoms that you might be present. You're gaining some weight, let's try some Ozempic, right? Or you have brain fog or fatigue, we're going to give you some ADHD medication. And so this is kind of the approach to modern medicine where they will identify a symptom and give you a Band-Aid for it.
Instead, Wentz says lifestyle changes are the best option for fixing the underlying condition, which is adrenal dysfunction. After just a few weeks of lifestyle changes, Wentz says we can get our bodies back on track. One of the strategies she outlines in her book aims to balance blood sugar by increasing the amount of protein we consume.
So generally, people that are in this stress response, they've been breaking their body down for a while. And so we need to give the body more amino acids in the sense of protein so we can build the body back up. Amino acids are our building blocks, and getting more protein in our system is going to be incredibly helpful. We need more fat, but I do recommend good fats than most people are getting because fats are incredibly helpful for supporting our mitochondria. Whenever we're in this chronic fatigue state, this adrenal dysfunction, our mitochondria is going to be affected as well.
The next step is to cut out inflammatory foods from our diet. Inflammation is a signal of stress in our body and triggers cortisol to be released, so limiting that will reduce the stress response.
One of the easiest ways to reduce this is getting off of like gluten, dairy, and soy, which are the most commonly inflammatory foods in people who are sensitive to them. So that's a big part of my recommendation. Eating a nutrient-dense diet can be very helpful. One of the things that can be great for people is a smoothie that I recommend, the Adrenal Kickstart smoothie. This is orange juice with some protein powder, coconut milk, and electrolytes. This is going to be incredibly replenishing first thing in the morning. This is going to help your brain and body wake up and to keep you blood sugar stable throughout the day because of the protein and fat component.
Other nutrients that are depleted during adrenal dysfunction are vitamin C, vitamin E, and magnesium.
For many people, just getting these nutrients on board, they'll say, I feel human again. I can, B vitamins are so important for energy production. So getting on some B complex, generally higher doses than what you would get in a multivitamin, this can be helpful for your energy production. P5P, or the vitamin B6, is helpful for producing our neurotransmitters. So people will feel more calm when they utilize that, and they'll be able to fall asleep easier at night. Then magnesium has been tied to so many different pathways in the body. We typically will say I think 300 plus, but in my experience, the big symptoms that respond to magnesium are going to be anxiety, pain in the body, trouble falling asleep, and cramps, especially menstrual cramps.
Wentz recommends taking a magnesium supplement or an Epsom salt bath to replenish our body's reserves. Her book, Adrenal Transformation Protocol, is available now wherever books are sold. You can find more information about Dr. Izabella Wentz and all of our guests on RadioHealthJournal.org. This segment originally aired in May of 2023. Our writer-producer is Kristen Farah. Our production manager is Jason Dickey. I'm Greg Johnson.